Hey audio students, this is Rajiv, and this is a quick tutorial about how to use the Smart Tool function in Pro Tools. This is going to help you edit your audio tracks that you've imported from the sound library, or you imported something that you've recorded on the H6 or the H4 or any kind of mobile recording device, or something that you recorded from the microphone. Using the studios that we have over here. So I have a few tracks on here, and my job is to go ahead and maybe clean some stuff up and maybe start editing some stuff. So Pro Tools gives the option of having three tools. So the first one is the grabber tool. And so if you highlight and choose a grabber tool, it's going to allow you to move any of your audio tracks from left to right. You can even move them from one track to the next, as long as they're either, the same mono track or the same stereo track. So for example, I know this is a mono track, so I can move this to another mono track, but I wouldn't be able to move this into a stereo track because it's a mono track. So that's what the grabber tool allows you to do. Just allows you to move any kind of audio clip anywhere you want. And then you have the selector tool. So the selector tool allows you to choose any point in the audio session that you want. So if I wanted to play from here, and I could hit play, I could go from here and I could hit play, right? I can go to beginning of the session. I can The other thing that I could do with the selector tool is I can go and start deleting things if I wanted to. So let's say I wanted to delete this chunk of audio. I can just highlight it and hit backspace or delete. If I want to delete this, this silence of this audio, I don't really need it, gone. So that's what the selector tool does. And then you have the trim tool. So if I click the trim tool, I could trim the audio tracks, right? So I can trim the edges, I can trim the beginning, all right? I can trim the end, and that's pretty much all you can do with the trim tool. Now note that I actually deleted a whole bunch of stuff over here. Pro Tools doesn't actually delete anything. So if I wanted that back, I can just go here and trim it back because it always exists, right? So even if it's gone, it's always still there. So that's what the trim tool does. Now, the thing is, it would take a lot of time of your workflow to go back to your grabber tool, move things, go to your selector tool and select or delete something, and then go to the trim tool and then go back to the grabber tool. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to keep going back to the tools up here and clicking whatever you want, because you're just going to keep going back and forth. So you want to use something called the Smart Tool. So the Smart Tool is when you have all three of these highlighted at the same time. And in order for you to do that, you have to click this little tiny space right above these three tools. And then once you click that tiny space, all three tools get highlighted. So let's see. How do I get access to those three tools? So you can see this middle line in this audio clip right here, right? This middle line. If you go above the middle line, it becomes the selector tool, right? If you go below the middle line, it becomes the grabber. And then if you go to the edges, it becomes the trimmer. So depending on where you're at in each audio track, it becomes different tools. When you have the Smart Tool function selected, you could actually fade in and fade out your tracks too. So if I go to the top right of this audio track and I click, it changes, into this different symbol. But if I click and drag, then I'm fading the signal out, and you can see the waveforms getting smaller and smaller as it fades out. So that's a fade out. Now, if I didn't like this fade, I can always trim it back and make the fade shorter or longer, whatever I want. But if I didn't like it at all, I can just click here and highlight that section and hit backspace, and the fade is gone. So I could do the same thing with the front of the audio track too. So I go to the top left, click, drag to the right, and that's a fade in, right? I could always adjust, and if I don't like it, click, backspace is gone. So that's how to use the Smart Tool function. To speed up your workflow, you definitely want to click the Smart Tool function, and you want to get used to using Pro Tools like that. And that's just going to allow you to do a lot more faster workflow in audio editing, which allows the creativity to just flow. Well, anyway, I hope this helps, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you.